This video is to help you complete your fourth and final section of your learning community case study, which is your school. You often wouldn't think the school itself would be part of the learning community, but think about its school mission and culture, academic programs, history, financial, and administration forces that have provided the framework in which the learning community functions. Keep in mind, all of those things were made up by human beings. So it is a manifestation of a piece of the learning community. So there's a lot of information which is below. You do not have to read or include everything. You should always focus on what interests you most about your school. So to get a better understanding of the learning community of your school, you should describe your school's mission and school culture by looking at Find My School, which you get to see their web page. You should examine a little closer the mission statement philosophy of your school's mission, because that will give you a big idea of what your learning community is all about. You should also examine what type of school cultures exist at your school. For example, whether you have a formal school culture, informal school culture. You should be looking at the school motto, school colors, mascot, because all of those are indications of what beliefs are found at your school. Once you do that, you should describe how your school is doing in terms of its academic progress of No Child Left Behind, and also some of the school's programs that is found at your school, because that's also an indication of how your learning community functions. Okay. And there's, again, a lot of resources, but you don't have to cover every one. So what is the school curriculum at your school? So you want to look at the academic classes being taught. Is there any social or moral education going on? Are there any programs that challenge students, such as e-school, gifted and talented, Hawaiian language immersion, etc.? Are there any athletics, clubs, A+ programs, etc.? And then also explore what support services are available. Do you have good physical space and facilities? You can take a look at some of the specific support services through these websites. You can look at the DOE's policy for homeless if your school has a high homeless population, and in addition also for military populations. And then finally you want to look at your academic progress of your school, of how well they did in No Child Left Behind. So you want to take a look at the scores of No Child Left Behind and see where you're at. Then you want to talk about how your schools have changed over the years and concentrate on your school, but take a look at some of the text of how history of public education has changed over the years, how the history of public education has changed in Hawaii, and then taking a look at your school by looking at your My School and school reports to see how the beginning reports have changed versus the old reports. And you can also interview a old teacher or somebody who has been at the school for a long time, and I don't mean old, I mean senior teacher who's been there a long time, to see how things have changed. Then finally, you want to look at who's controlling your school, who's in charge of the funding for your school, the administration of your school, and so on. So look at some of these texts of how schools are funded, how they're distributed. Look at your trends report of the money that goes into your school. Look at some of the financial reports. And again, you're just getting a basic idea of where the money's coming from. And then take a look at the people in control of your particular school and discuss that or describe that briefly. Organize your answers for the 3 steps in a way that makes sense to you. Again, you can present this electronically in multimedia format or in text format, depends on how much you want to write. And then once you've saved your answer, you now are ready to submit the entire case study. You want to combine them in all 4 sections into one paper. Make sure you have headings on each one, and there's an example of what that looks like. And then make sure you submit the entire case study to La Lima assignments by the due date indicated on the course calendar. And now you should have a wonderful idea of who your learning community is and what challenges they have. Okay, that's it. Great job.